Close your eyes and let the warmth of the desert night surround you once again. Tonight, I will tell you a true story, a mystery that lay hidden in the scorched cliffs of Deir el-Bahari for over 3,000 years. Imagine a family of local villagers, the Abd el-Rasuls, walking along the jagged limestone hills in the year 1871. They weren't looking for history, but history was about to find them. As they followed a lost goat, they stumbled upon a narrow hidden shaft, plunging deep into the heart of the mountain. Think of the silence as one of the brothers was lowered down that dark, suffocating hole with nothing but a flickering candle. At the bottom, a long corridor opened up, stretching nearly 70 meters into the rock. As the light of his candle hit the walls, his breath caught in his throat. He wasn't alone. Row after row, stacked one on top of another, were the coffins of the greatest rulers the world had ever known. Ramses the Great, Seti the Once, Thutmose III, the mighty pharaohs who had once commanded empires were resting here in absolute dusty silence. These kings had been moved here in secret, under the cover of a moonless night, 3,000 years ago. Ancient priests, fearing the tomb robbers of their own time, had gathered the royal mummies from their grand tombs in the Valley of the Kings. They carried them through the rocky paths of the Theban hills, whispering prayers in the dark, seeking a place where their ancestors could finally sleep undisturbed. They chose this secret cache, a place so well hidden that it vanished from human memory for 30 centuries. When the world finally learned of this discovery, a strange and beautiful thing happened. As the mummies were being moved down the Nile to Cairo on a steamship, the modern people of Egypt gathered on the riverbanks. As the ship passed, the men fired rifles into the air in salute, and the women wailed the traditional cries of mourning. It was as if the pharaohs were being buried all over again, thousands of years after their first funeral. The past and the present touched for a brief moment under the desert sun. Visualize the face of Ramses II as he lies now in his glass case, his hands crossed over his chest, his skin like darkened parchment. Even in death, his face carries a regal, calm authority. He survived wars, he built monuments that still pierce the sky, and yet his final journey was a quiet one, carried on the shoulders of priests who loved their history more than their lives. As you listen to this, feel the weight of that history. It is a reminder that even the most powerful lives eventually find a place of quiet and stillness. The desert has a way of swallowing the noise of ambition and leaving only the peace of the sand. The same stars that watched those priests move the mummies are watching over you tonight. The same Nile that carried their funeral barges is still flowing, slowly and rhythmically, just like your breath. The secrets of the pharaohs are no longer hidden, but the peace they found in that dark cliffside remains. Let that sense of ancient, undisturbed quiet settle over you now. You are safe, the history is written, and the world is at rest. In the next part, we will explore the tragic and beautiful life of the boy king, Tutankhamun, and the truth behind the golden mask. But for now, let the story of the hidden kings drift away into the shadows of your mind. Close your eyes once more and feel the cool, dry air of the Valley of the Kings. Tonight, we move away from the river and travel toward the towering limestone cliffs of Deir el-Bahari. Here, carved directly into the living rock, stands one of the most beautiful temples ever built. It belongs to a woman who did what no one thought possible. She became a pharaoh, Her name was Hatshepsut, the woman who ruled as a king. Imagine the temple in its prime. It wasn't just cold stone back then. It was surrounded by lush, green gardens filled with exotic frankincense and myrrh trees brought from a mysterious land called Punt. As you walk through the rows of columns, imagine the scent of that burning incense, thick, sweet, and calming. Hatshepsut didn't want to be remembered for wars or blood. She wanted to be remembered for her trade, her wisdom, and the beauty she brought to the world. For 22 years, she ruled Egypt with a steady hand. She wore the royal beard and the crown of the pharaohs, not to deceive her people, but to show them she was their protector, chosen by the gods. Under her reign, the kingdom felt a peace it hadn't known for centuries. But history has a way of being complicated. After her death, someone tried to erase her from time. Her statues were shattered, her name was scraped off the walls, and her face was chiseled away. It was as if someone wanted the world to forget she ever existed. But the desert does not forget. For thousands of years, her story waited under the drifting sands. Archaeologists eventually found the fragments of her statues and pieced her life back together. In 1903, Howard Carter found a tomb, but it was empty. It wasn't until much later, using modern science and a single, tiny tooth found in a wooden box, that experts identified her mummy. She had been hidden away, just like the others we spoke of, to protect her from those who sought to destroy her legacy. Think about the silence of that tomb where she lay for so long. It is a deep, heavy silence that carries no fear. It is the silence of a secret kept well. Even though people tried to erase her name, her temple still stands today, glowing golden under the Egyptian sun. It is a testament that truth cannot be buried forever. As you breathe in the stillness of the night, think of Hatshepsut's strength. She lived in a world of men and carved her own path, leaving behind gardens of incense and monuments of light. Feel that same strength and calm within yourself. You don't need to fight any battles tonight. Like the queen who became king, you can find your own sanctuary in the quiet. The wind whispers through the colonnades of her temple, carrying the faint echoes of ancient chants. The stars above Deir el-Bahari are the same ones that watched her builders work through the night. Let the rhythm of the desert wind slow your thoughts. The story of the past is secure and your present moment is safe. Rest now, knowing that even if the world tries to forget, the soul remains eternal. In our next part, we will move toward the Great Sphinx, the silent guardian of the Giza Plateau, to uncover the true story of its missing nose and the hidden chambers that many believe lie beneath its paws. But for now, let the fragrance of Hatshepsut's myrrh trees lead you into a deep, dreamless sleep. Here is part 3. The Sphinx, the eternal guardian of the Giza sands. Tonight, as you settle deeper into your pillow, we leave the hidden tombs of the valley and travel north. Imagine the cool midnight air of the Giza Plateau. The ground beneath you is no longer soft sand, but a vast, solid limestone bedrock. Emerging from this rock, like a mountain coming to life, is the Great Sphinx. It is the largest monolithic statue on earth, a lion with the head of a king, staring eternally toward the eastern horizon, waiting for the sun that has risen and set for over 4,000 years. Take a moment to visualize the sheer scale of this guardian. Its paws are as long as a house. Its eyes are wide and wise. In the stillness of the night, the Sphinx looks less like a statue and more like a living being that has simply decided to stay very, very still. Many legends surround this figure, including the mystery of its missing nose. For centuries, people blame Napoleon's soldiers or ancient invaders, but historians now know the truth is much quieter. It was likely weathered away by time and the harsh desert winds, or perhaps altered by a religious leader centuries ago. The Sphinx does not mind. Its power doesn't come from perfection, but from its endurance. As you stand in the shadow of its massive chest, you see a red granite slab between its paws. This is a dream stele. It tells the true story of a young prince named Thutmose. Long ago, before he was king, he fell asleep in the shadow of the Sphinx after a long hunt. The statue spoke to him in his dream, complaining that the desert sands were choking it, burying its body. The Sphinx promised Thutmose that if he cleared the sand, he would one day wear the crown of Egypt. The prince woke up, cleared the dunes, and indeed became the great pharaoh Thutmose IV. Think about the sand for a moment. For most of its life, the Sphinx was buried up to its neck. Only its head peered out above the dunes, a mysterious face watching over a changing world. It saw the rise and fall of empires, the invention of the wheel, the birth of modern cities. It waited patiently through the centuries, covered by a blanket of sand, showing us that sometimes being hidden is a form of protection. There are those who believe the greatest secrets of the Sphinx are not on its surface, but beneath it. For decades, legends have spoken of a hall of records, a hidden library containing the lost wisdom of a civilization even older than Egypt. While modern sensors have found hollow spaces and tunnels deep in the rock, the Sphinx keeps its claws tightly closed over its secrets. It reminds us that some mysteries are meant to be felt, not solved. Feel the deep grounding energy of this ancient stone. The Sphinx is made of the very earth itself. As you listen, imagine your own body becoming as still and as heavy as that limestone. Your legs feel weighted and relaxed. Your arms are heavy by your sides. Like the Sphinx, you are unshakable. The winds of the world may blow around you and the sands of time may shift, but here, in this moment, you are a monument of peace. The desert night is silent now, save for the faint sound of sand grains brushing against the statue's base. It is a rhythmic, soothing sound, the breath of the desert. The stars above Giza are bright and steady, watching over the guardian and watching over you. You are part of this timeless landscape now. In the next part, we will move toward the Great Pyramid itself to explore the true story of the workers who built it, not as slaves, but as honored craftsmen who left their names in the stones. But for now, let the watchful, silent gaze of the Sphinx guard your dreams. Sleep is your kingdom tonight, and you are its rightful ruler. Tonight, we step away from the myths of giants and magic, and we turn our gaze toward the most human story of all. Imagine standing at the very base of the Great Pyramid of Khufu. When you look up, the stone blocks seem to reach the stars themselves, creating a staircase to the heavens. For centuries, the world believed that these monuments were built by the hands of suffering slaves, driven by the lash of a whip. But the desert has finally whispered the truth, and the reality is far more beautiful and peaceful. Just a short walk from the pyramids, archaeologists discovered a city of the workers. This wasn't a place of chains, but a place of life. Imagine the smell of fresh, warm emmer bread wafting through the morning air and the sound of distant laughter. The people who built these pyramids were honored craftsmen, farmers and laborers who came from all over the Nile Valley. They saw their work not as a burden, but as a sacred duty, a way to build something that would last forever. As you lie there, think about the immense coordination and quiet focus of these people. They worked in files or groups with names like the Friends of Khufu or the Drunkards of Menkaure. They left their marks in red ochre paint on the backs of the stones, hidden away where no one would see them for 4,000 years. These were their private signatures, a message from their hands to the future. They were proud of what they were creating. They knew that every stone they moved was a piece of eternity. Visualize the sheer effort turned into a rhythmic, steady flow. Thousands of men pulling on thick papyrus ropes timed to the beat of a song or a chant. Pull and rest, pull and rest. It was a dance of human will. In the workers' cemetery nearby, we found their remains. Their bones show the signs of hard labor, yes, but they also show something incredible: healed fractures and evidence of advanced medical care. They were fed the finest beef and fish. They were cared for by the king's own doctors. They were the heartbeat of Egypt. As you listen to this, let the idea of sacred work settle into your mind. Think of your own life, the things you build, and the efforts you make. Like the pyramid builders, you deserve rest after your labor. Your bed is your sanctuary, just as the workers' city was their home after a long day under the golden sun. The heavy lifting is over. The stones are all in place. The sun has set and the tools have been laid down. The Great Pyramid stands silent now, a mountain of human achievement. It is not a monument to a tyrant, but a monument to the power of people working together in harmony. Feel that harmony in your own body. Your breathing is steady, your muscles are loose, and the weight of your day has been lifted, stone by stone. You have done enough. The desert night is cool, and the shadows of the pyramids stretch long across the sand, reaching out like protective arms. The ghosts of the builders are at peace, their names etched forever into the heart of the world. You are part of that same continuity, a soul resting under the same eternal sky. In the next part, we will travel to the city of Akhenaten, the heretic king, to uncover the true story of the city built in the middle of the desert and the beautiful Queen Nefertiti. But for now, let the steady ancient rhythm of the builder's chants turn into a soft lullaby. The work is done. The temple is quiet. Sleep now. Here is part 5, Akhenaten and Nefertiti, the city of the sun. Tonight we travel away from the familiar sights of Giza and journey deep into the heart of Middle Egypt, to a place now known as Amarna. Imagine a vast, empty crescent of desert framed by high limestone cliffs. 3,000 years ago, this silent sand was the site of the most radical experiment in human history. A pharaoh named Akhenaten and his legendary queen, Nefertiti, abandoned the old gods and the ancient capital of Thebes to build a brand new city from scratch, Akhetaten, the horizon of the sun. As you lie still, imagine the shimmering heat haze of this city rising in the distance. Unlike the dark, mysterious temples of the past, Akhenaten's temples had no roofs. They were designed to be flooded with the direct blinding light of the Aten, the sun disk. Visualize yourself walking through these open-air courts. The light is warm on your skin, and the air is filled with the scent of thousands of lotus flowers floating in enormous water basins. There are no shadows here, only a sense of absolute clarity and openness. This was a time of truth. For the first time in history, art became soft and natural. We see the pharaoh not as a distant god, but as a father, playing with his daughters or holding the hand of his wife, Nefertiti. Her name means a beautiful woman has come, and when you look at her famous limestone bust, you see the true face of ancient grace, the long neck, the regal brow, and the slight mysterious smile. Together, they dreamed of a world governed not by fear of the dark, but by the celebration of the light. But this dream was fragile. Building a city in the middle of a barren desert required immense sacrifice. The people worked tirelessly to raise white palaces and painted villas out of the dust. For 17 years, this sun-drenched city thrived, a bubble of art and light in a changing world. But when Akhenaten passed away, the city was abandoned almost overnight. The desert, patient and relentless, began to reclaim the streets. The temples were dismantled, and the names of the Sun Kings were erased from the official lists. Think about the silence of a city left behind. As the residents moved away, the wind became the only traveler in the hallways of Nefertiti's palace. The colorful floor paintings of birds and fish were covered by a soft, protective layer of sand. For over 3,000 years, the city of the sun slept beneath the dunes, forgotten by history, until archaeologists uncovered its bones in the sand. As you listen, feel the quiet beauty of things that are fleeting. Like the city of Amarna, our thoughts and worries can sometimes feel intense and bright, but they too eventually fade into the quiet. The sun must always set so that the stars can appear. The desert doesn't mourn the lost city. It simply holds it in a peaceful embrace. Your own mind is like that sun-drenched courtyard now, but the light is softening. The bright yellows and golds of the day are turning into deep blues and velvet purples. The horizon of the sun is slipping below the edge of your consciousness. You are safe in the stillness that follows the light. Nefertiti and her king are gone, but the beauty they sought to capture remains in the stones and in the spirit of the desert. Let your breath become as slow and as steady as the wind blowing through the empty ruins of Amarna. There is no more work to be done, no more cities to build. There is only the cool, dark night and the promise of rest. In our final part, we will return to the most famous discovery of all, the tomb of the boy king, Tutankhamun. We will separate the myths from the truth and find the peaceful boy behind the golden mask. But for now, let the sun of Amarna fade away, leaving you in perfect, cool darkness. Here is part 6, Tutankhamun, the boy king's final rest. Tonight, our long journey through the sands comes to a close in the most famous place of all, the Valley of the Kings. But we are not here for the gold or the legends of curses. We are here to find the truth of a young boy who was once lost to time. Imagine the year 1922. A water boy working for the archaeologist Howard Carter accidentally trips over a stone step hidden beneath the debris of ancient huts. That single accidental step led to the discovery that would shake the world, the tomb of Tutankhamun. As you lie perfectly still, imagine the moment the seal was broken. As Carter held a candle to a small hole in the door, his patron asked, "Can you see anything?" Carter's famous reply was, "Yes, wonderful things." But beyond the golden chariots and the sapphire-encrusted thrones, there was a profound, heavy silence. This was a tiny tomb, never intended for a great king, yet it held the greatest treasures ever found. It was a place of cramped, golden splendor, frozen in time for over 3,000 years. Visualize the innermost coffin. It is made of solid, heavy gold. When the lid was lifted, the world saw the iconic funerary mask. But look closer at the true story told by the objects. Buried with him were his childhood toys, his walking sticks, and even a wreath of withered flowers, cornflowers and lilies, placed on his chest by his young widow. These flowers, though turned to grey dust, were perhaps the most precious thing in the room. They represent a human story of love and a life cut tragically short at the age of 19. Tutankhamun was not a conquering hero or a builder of great pyramids. He was a fragile young man who spent his short reign trying to bring peace back to a fractured land. He walked with a limp, his body weakened by illness, yet he carried the weight of an empire on his shoulders. When he died, he was buried in haste, his memory almost immediately forgotten by the kings who followed him. For 30 centuries, he slept in the total darkness of the earth, protected by the very fact that he had been forgotten. Think about that protection. While the grand tombs of the great pharaohs were being looted, the boy king remained undisturbed. His failure to be remembered by history was actually his greatest blessing. It allowed him to rest in the absolute peace that all the gold in the world could not buy. Tonight, you can find that same protection. You don't need to be remembered by the world. You don't need to achieve greatness. You only need to be here in the quiet, safe and undisturbed. The valley is silent now. The tourists have gone home, the lights have been turned off, and the limestone cliffs are bathed in the cool light of the Egyptian moon. The boy king is no longer a mystery. He is a reminder that even after thousands of years of silence, our stories can be found and understood. But for now, the story is complete. The golden mask is still. The ebony chests are closed, and the desert wind is the only thing moving through the valley. Feel the deep, ancient weight of your body as it sinks into your bed. Your journey through the Nile, the temples, the pyramids, and the hidden tombs has brought you here to the very edge of sleep. The history of Egypt is a long one, but it is a history that values the afterlife, a place of eternal fields and endless peace. Let your breath be your final guide. In and out. The sands are still. The river is calm. The pharaohs are at rest, and so are you. Your eyes are heavy. Your heart is light, and the secrets of the past are safe in the shadows. Good night, traveler. Sleep now in the cradle of history.